In honor of Batman's 75th anniversary, he has aged well, hasn't he? We actually have an all Gotham-themed episode of DC All Access, and we're actually celebrating all month long on DCComics.com.
Yep, and we're going to be talking with Batman the Animated Series co-creator Bruce Timm all about his Batman 75th anniversary short.
And Scott Snyder, he's a pretty good writer. He's actually going to give us an exclusive first look at the upcoming Batman Eternal Weekly series. I guess in a lot of ways we're just throwing a Batman birthday party here at DC All Access.
It's true, except no clowns.
No clowns.
So last year we celebrated Superman's 75th.
Right.
This year is Batman's 75th. So how do you go about creating a short that you think was great for celebrating Batman?
It kind of is a throwback to Batman's origins. I always kind of wanted to do Batman as a actual period piece, literally in 1939, the year the Batman first appeared on the newsstand. So it's kind of based on the very earliest version of Batman that Bob Kane did. The character Hugo Strange, who's right there, he was actually one of the very first supervillains in the Batman comics. I wanted to incorporate him.
And as far as what we're seeing here, it seems like they're a little bit more in-depth than most storyboards that I've seen.
Yeah.
Did you put a lot more work into these?
Oh yeah, way more. Yeah, knowing that I was going to do it in black and white and that I was going to rely so much on the atmosphere and the mood of it, I came up with a storyline where basically Batman gasses the villains with these big clouds of tear gas to kind of hide, his movements while he's stalking them. And that's kind of tricky to pull off in animation, so I knew I had to be very, very detailed in the boards in terms of, what I wanted it to look like. Once we got the footage back, we went to town with digital effects to kind of just really, really, really push all the fog. Almost every shot has been treated digitally just to kind of give it that old school kind of look to it.
Batman Eternal's about to launch. The thing you're most excited for fans to see, what is it?
Well, I think the thing I'm most excited for fans to see in the book is how much we have planned. I mean, the appeal for me with the weekly series was doing a book that moved so fast that we could actually tell a ton of stories, from Catwoman to Batgirl and the Mayor to the Gotham Gazette, just everyone. We want to go really big. We want this to be a series that week by week changes the way Gotham looks, feels, is, and it will greatly affect all of the books in the Bat world, and it's the continuity that I'm going to come back to from Zero Year.
Batman Eternal is a weekly book, which is way too much work for just one man. So what is it like to be working with a team, but to be the captain of that team?
Well, I don't know if I'm the captain. I'm definitely, I would say I'm sort of one of the two coaches or something like that. But I think the reason that we work so well together is that we have a similar sensibility about making sure that the story is very, very character-driven and really has big emotional repercussions and status repercussions for every character involved. So, and on top of that, each one of those writers really brings something exciting, in my opinion, to the book. Ray has huge interests in the supernatural and the darker, more twisted aspects of Gotham, and Tim is really into sort of the more dramatic elements between the personal relationships between characters. James, on the other hand, really loves the supporting cast. I like the big bombastic moments. So we sort of complement each other in the way that we're telling one big story, but each of us has a little neighborhood that we kind of use to walk that story through.
All right, you guys, check out this full-scale Batman Arkham City Batarang replica. It is awesome, and guess what else? We're giving it away to one of you guys. All you have to do is tweet us what you think is one of the most essential gadgets in Batman's arsenal. And don't worry, you've got like 75 years of gear to choose from. When you tweet us your pick, though, use the hashtag DCAllAccess so we can find you. This is awesome.
So Brian, first thing, you're stepping into a book that's pretty important to a lot of people.
You may have heard of it.
Nervous at all?
It's daunting, but in a good way. I think it brings out the best in a creator.
Yeah.
What Francis and I decided we were going to sort of tell our own story and be a little more self-contained. I mean, there are obviously a number of Batman books. He is like the most popular dude ever.
He's doing well right now.
So yeah, so he's got a few books.
Yeah.
So we decided we were going to take a step back and tell more of a detective story that was more about him and a murder case, because we can tell our story without having to be as directly involved in the rest of the Gotham universe.
Right. And speaking of things that separate you also, Francis's art, super distinct, right? I mean, you're working with a guy who, his imprint on things, people remember forever. Are you writing better stuff because you know he can basically dump out anything?
As collaborators, we come up with the story in a very unique way. A lot of times we just talk out the story and he'll start drawing, and we'll have layouts of little tiny little images of the pages before one of us sits down to a keyboard. When you're writing with somebody who is also so amazing artistically, I think it opens up opportunities that it's a little harder when you're writing and you don't know who's going to draw it, or the communication is not as direct.
Right. Is there anything that, without spoiling anything, that you are really looking forward to seeing the fans respond to?
We have some new characters, and one of them is a biker, and you haven't really seen any biker gangs in Gotham, so I'll be really interested to see what people think of these new characters that we bring in.
So Ralph, I really appreciate you letting me in here, man.
Thanks for coming, Blair.
Yeah, for insurance purposes, I'm not usually allowed in places like this.
That's understandable.
But because I host the show, we do want to see your crazy 60s Batman TV show collection.
Great.
So let's take a look at it.
Blair, what sort of Batman collection would it be if it was just out in the open? As anyone knows, you got to go through the bookcase,
Yes. Right? Oh, yes.
Here you go.
This is amazing. Wow. I'm assuming, because it's the first thing you really see when you walk in the door, that one of the oldest pieces in your collection is in this case.
Yeah, this case is mostly prime 1966 vintage merchandise. We've got the original Batman and Robin action figures. Those are the first ones ever made. We have all the glasses. We've got Batman Cola. It took me years to find an empty bottle of Batman Cola.
Right.
One of my favorite pieces of all, of course, these are actual screen-worn gloves from Adam West from his Batman costume.
What I love about this, it says Dear Collector, but you and Adam actually have more of a personal relationship.
Adam and I have been friends for about 10 years now. We talk about your boyhood dreams come true. To be this obsessed with the guy in this show and then have him be my pal now is kind of...
Can't put a price on that, right?
No, you can't.
So what's this?
Another one of my favorite pieces of all time. This is an actual set-used copy of the script from the pilot episode. That was the first episode, of course, with Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, who started it all off.
So let's take a look at what we have going on in here. The button collection.
One by one, I was able to hunt those down. That's all original 14 buttons that you could get in a bubblegum machine when you were a kid. Everything you could think of, they made for Batman in the 60s. I mean, toothbrushes and plates and cups.
How much are you still going out and physically hunting, and how much are you just eBaying?
I do it all. I get a chance to travel around the country a little bit for work, so if you go into a consignment store or a thrift shop, you're stunned sometimes what you run across, and the prices that you get there versus what you pay online are significantly better.
And you actually have one like super rare thing.
This is Mr. Freeze's helmet. One of the helmets that George Sanders, the first Mr. Freeze of the series, that he wore from those 2 episodes.
And then you have one more really, really special piece in here.
Amongst we hardcore 60s collectors, this is the Holy Grail. This is a mint in-box ideal 1966 Batman utility belt. And it came with so many pieces that could get lost, broken, or disappear on you, that to have it intact, mint, in the box with the cellophane still in the front, it is one of those pieces that every collector who loves 66 Batman is looking for.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. Do you need to...
Yeah, it was probably a good idea to pat you down.
I'll go this way first.
Yeah.
Batman's celebrating his 75th anniversary all year long, so make sure that you subscribe to DC All Access so you don't miss any of the fun.
And we are celebrating 2 seasons of being around.
Only like 73 more to go. It's like the same thing.
We're pretty close. Either way, though, we're going to commemorate this momentous occasion by inviting you and a friend to come to San Diego Comic-Con with us. All you need to do for a chance to win a 4-day pass, hotel vouchers, airfare vouchers, is click this link below and answer a few simple trivia questions. Really easy.
But guess what, you guys? You're already winners for watching DC All Access. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.